Hi and welcome to Yoga with Kylie. This is a nice short little detox flow. So just to help support you if you are partaking in a detox, or just a nice way to bring a little bit of balance back into the body. So we're going to be looking at stimulating the lymphatic system, the organs that help us to detoxify, so the liver, the kidneys, and our lungs, and really focusing a lot on breathing, because a lot of detoxification happens through the breath. And also when we breathe deeply and utilize the diaphragm fully, we actually massage the internal organs and our digestive system, which also helps with detoxification. So you will need a block. If you don't have a block, it could be a rolled up towel, or it could even be a foam roller if you have that. Just pop that to one side and come to stand. I'm going to start by actually stimulating a few of the lymph nodes in the body, and just encouraging that lymph drainage back to the heart, so then it can be moved out of our body either via the lungs, the kidneys, or the digestive system. So you're going to start through the neck, and you're just going to start with a gentle kind of tickling action up and down the jawline. And then this action is going to start to become a little bit more vigorous and also a little bit harder. Just watch that you're not scratching yourself. We're just kind of stimulating this area. And then what you're going to do is start to smack that area. I know it's a little bit tricky, particularly tricky if you're trying to talk at the same time. Just smacking along the jawline underneath. And then you're going to take the hands and draw the skin down towards the chest. Drawing down towards the chest. So you're just encouraging the lymph nodes to drain back towards the heart. Good. And then do the same across the top of the chest, so just underneath the collarbone. So start with kind of a gentle tickle, and then make that tickle a little bit more vigorous and a little bit harder. We start to also stimulate fascia in the area. And then a little bit of a smack. And then draw the skin down towards the sternum and towards the heart. Good. And then go to one arm, and you're going to go on the inside of the elbow. So again, a gentle kind of brushing, tickling action. And then start to get a little bit more vigorous, a little bit harder, creating a little bit more heat there. And then smacking the inside of the arm. And then draw it up towards the armpit. Good, and then switch over to the other side. And start a little bit softer. And then make it a little bit firmer. If your hands are getting stuck like mine were, then you can just move to the knuckles, just so that you can get a decent amount of friction going. And then smack in that area. And draw the skin up towards the armpit. And then go into the groin. Again, just gentle rubbing. And then make it a little bit firmer, a little bit faster. And then a little bit of smacking. And then draw it up towards the belly. You're stimulating it all back to the heart. And then you're going to go behind your knees into that kind of little pocket behind the knees. Again, a little bit of tickling. And then get a little bit faster. Good, and then draw up the legs again, back to the heart. Good, give your hands a little shake up. We're now going to do a little bit of myofascial release through our ribs for the intercostal. So take one hand in the air and take your fingers in between the spaces of your ribs, and nice firm touch to try and free up some of that tissue. So as I said earlier, our lungs and our breathing is a great way of detoxifying, but also of massaging the internal organs when the diaphragm moves efficiently. But for a lot of us, we don't breathe big enough, full enough, so the rib cage tends to get a little bit stuck. intercostal muscles get a little bit stuck and the ribs don't open and close as much as they could. And you want to go all the way up underneath the armpit area, so the ribs go underneath the breast tissue. And also go around the back body as much as you can to get the back of the ribs. You can even reach over towards the opposite side to get a little bit more MFR or myofascial release in between the ribs. It's also bringing, again, awareness to this area. When we have awareness in an area, it helps us to actually move that area better. Good, and then we'll release that down. You might even notice just from doing that a difference between both sides of the rib cage. So just observe that. And then take the other arm above your head, take the fingers and go in between all of the ribs. Nice firm pressure. So what we're doing is melting really the fuzz that builds up between the fascial layers. And that fuzz kind of makes it sticky, almost a little bit like Velcro, particularly if it's been a while. And so that Velcro feeling inhibits movement. Again, you can reach over a little bit towards the opposite side room, create a bit more space through the ribs. And get round to the back as much as you can. Good, and release that arm down. You're going to take one hand to the top of your chest and one hand to your back ribs. Now, if you're like me, and you have a tendency to flare the ribs out, what's happening is you're actually robbing the ability of the lungs to really fully inflate backwards. Most of our lung tissue is actually in the back body. So if you're here, breathing up here, then you're actually robbing yourself of the full capacity of your lungs. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the back ribs. I want you to fill the back ribs, so that back hand with your breath, but at the same time fill the top of the chest. So the back ribs will fill, the top of the chest will fill, but there won't be a flaring of the ribs and a lifting of the sternum, if you can see that. So your inhale, expand both sides of the body. And then exhale, draw the navel in. Inhale, fill the back body as well as the front body. Let the belly expand. And as you exhale, the belly will draw in. You might like to close your eyes as you do this. Because if you are so used to breathing into that top part of the chest and kind of robbing the back body, and then the first few rounds of this can feel a little bit unfamiliar and a little bit weird. And you just want to make sure that you don't then collapse through the front of the chest in order to fill the back body. And really allow the belly to expand on the in-breath. Now that you're starting to get the hang of it, we'll add a count to it. So inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, 2, 3, 4. 2 more rounds on your own. When you're done your 2 rounds, just release your hands. You're going to come to lie on your belly now, and the block or the foam roller or your rolled up towel is going to go between your hip points and your bottom ribs. So place the block down, bring yourself to lie on your belly. You can be on your forearms, or you could even go further down if that feels okay. And if you've never done this before, it will feel quite uncomfortable. So we're getting a little bit of visceral massage, a little bit of compression into the abdominal region, also a little bit of fascial release for the psoas muscle. And the psoas muscle connects fascially, so via fascia, to our digestive system and also our diaphragm. So if there is tightness through that muscle, it can affect how we process our food and also how we breathe. So it's a really important muscle to ensure that it's not tight so that we can detoxify efficiently and effectively. And you're going to try and breathe into the block, so allow the belly to kind of expand into the block. But then as you exhale, see if the belly can let go a little so the block sinks in a little deeper. And as the block goes a little deeper, you might even notice the pulsing of your heart. Your aorta runs down through the belly before it splits and goes off into the legs. There's a few more breaths here. I know it can be a little bit uncomfortable if you're new to this. One more breath in. And fully exhale out. Just carefully push into your elbows. Bring yourself up. And remove the block. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And a few rounds of cat-cow breathing just to mobilize through our spine. So as you inhale, lift your sitting bones, lift your chest forward. And then exhale, push the ground away, spread your shoulder blades wide on the back, scoot the tailbone under. Inhale, draw the chest forward, lifting the sitting bones, stretching the front belly. Then exhale, round and curl, draw the navel in, compressing into the digestive system. Inhale, draw the chest forward, opening the heart, but also lengthening and opening the front line. Exhale, round and curl, compress into the abdominals. Inhale, draw the chest forward. And then exhale, round and curl. Find a neutral spot with the spine, so halfway between those 2 points. Push firmly into your left knee and take your right knee straight out to the side. So it's like a dog peeing on a bush. Make sure that the foot is in line with the knee, it's not above the knee. And then push firmly into your right hand and take your left hand out to the side. Be careful that you're not sinking into your left hip. Take a breath in. As you exhale, close the hand and the knee, but don't put them on the floor. And then inhale, open it out like a book. Just check that the foot doesn't go above the knee. Exhale, close. And inhale to open. Good. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. One more time. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Stay here. So we're working into the gallbladder, but also the obliques. So an organ that helps detoxify, and they're muscles that help us to breathe deeply. Good. Place your left hand down, extend the right leg back behind you, spin your left shin towards the left, and then place the right foot down and come to stand up on your left knee. So we're going to go into a floating or a flowing, a parangasana or gate pose to get into the side body and obliques again. So the inhale, we're here, and then exhale, put the hand on your extended leg and reach up and over. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, hand goes to the floor, reach up and over, extend that whole side body. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, hand to the extended leg, reach up and over, so we're opening through the rib cage as well. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, reach. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, reach. Stay there. Breathe into the rib cage. Extend out through the fingertips. So stimulating into the gallbladder line, the liver channel, but also encouraging more space in the rib cage, so more space for the lungs. And come back to that breathing exercise we did at the beginning, seeing if you can fill the back part of the rib cage with your breath. Good. Inhale back to the center. Walk your hands forward on the floor in front of you. Slide your leg out a little bit further, and then maybe come down onto the forearms if that's available, or stay up on your hands. You want to get a really good stretch through the inner thigh of this extended leg. So again, getting into our liver channel, or liver meridian line. And just bring your awareness to your back ribs again, seeing if you can fill the back ribs with your breath. And exhale, navel draws towards the spine. Into your high plank, you're going to take the right knee across to your left elbow. And then step back to plank. Left knee across to the right elbow. Back to plank. Good, keep going with this. Now you'll notice that nothing happens through the upper body. So I don't want you shifting forwards and back. I want you to maintain the plank position, and all this work happens from the hip crease, the hip flexors, and the obliques. You can make it a little bit faster if you choose. But really focus on creating stability through your upper body and working into the hip flexors and your obliques, stimulating the core. 3, 2, 1. Push back, down dog. And step your right foot outside your right hand. Drop your left knee onto the floor and spin your right toes out. Come onto the pinky toe side of the foot and roll the knee open. You have the option to push the hand onto the knee to encourage a little bit more opening. Or you can bring the hands to the floor, maybe even the hands to the block. Also, what you might like to do to encourage a little bit more length and opening through the front of the hip and the psoas is bend up the back leg and catch hold of the foot. Or you could even just bend it up and hold it there. Use a little bit more of your muscular strength to pull the heel towards the butt.